Welcome along to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. And really, there's a lot about this. The New Year's honours list has just landed. Yes, it has. Some rogue names on there. These aren't the rogue names. They're Torval and Dean, Idris Elba, the Lionesses, the Red Roses. They all lead the New Year's honours list, as well as this gentleman.
Then I began to feel nervous, and I sort of realised it's not just an adventure, it's actual world war.
Now, well done to 101-year-old D-Day veteran Mervyn Kerr. He was awarded a British Empire Medal. I just said, why don't they just knight him? Just knight him. But anyway, he did say, though, that the Britain of today is disappointing. So it does raise questions, again, was it all worth fighting for? However, there are some pretty rogue names. I would say people who are thoroughly undeserving of an honour who have been named, and I'll reveal them to you in a few moments' time. Plus,
and can I start by raising the case of Alaa Abdel Fattah?
Yes.
As the Prime Minister knows and has said, he's a British citizen, jailed for the crime of posting on social media.
Yeah, I mean, it's got it all, that clip, hasn't it? But this has made the front of several newspaper front pages. This extremist, the Egyptian extremist, is still welcomed in the UK. However, what has made the front of a different newspaper, the Daily Telegraph, is that he has apparently, in the last couple of hours, liked a Facebook post that accused all of this negativity about him of being part of a Zionist, Jewish, conspiracy theory, right? So, the guy's not really learned his lesson, has he? Bit of a lack of remorse there. Also, curious front page from The Guardian. 1 in 3 people believe that Britishness depends on you being born in the UK. Well, it kind of does, doesn't it, really? It kind of does. Maybe the odd exception, the very odd exception, like you come from a long line of other people who were born in the UK and you were born on a military base overseas, or you happen to be born, like, when you're on holiday or something along those lines. But realistically, being British, I think, does depend on you being born in the UK, doesn't it? And this is, well, it's a devastating story, but it's also, in some ways, miraculous and remarkable, because Anthony Joshua, the former 2-time heavyweight boxing world champion, has somehow survived just like the worst car crash you've ever seen in your life, and 2 of his very close associates sadly did not survive. Apparently Anthony Joshua has escaped with relatively minor injuries, although I don't know, that might change when he gets more medical attention. But goodness gracious me, I mean, the pictures of this are utterly horrific as well, so thoughts go to Anthony Joshua and, of course, the families of those who have sadly passed away. In other news...
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not good. I heard about it this morning. You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. That's no good.
Well, just one day after that Ukraine peace deal meeting, cracks are emerging in that peace deal. More to follow. Joining us this evening, our broadcasting royalty Christo Foufas. We have got Reform UK candidate Orla Minahan and journalist and broadcaster Benjamin Butterworth. And talking of cringe celebs, believe it or not, this lady has just been given an honour.
I have synesthesia, so I see
that's so cool.
colour with music.
Oh my God.
So I can,
What colour is this?
blue. It's just
That did
All right, let's get you all of Tuesday's newspaper front pages, and then we will discuss. So the Times leads with solar grants for millions to cut home energy use. Millions of homeowners are going to be eligible for grants to install solar panels, heat pumps and battery storage in an attempt to create zero-bill homes. But it won't be zero-bill homes, will it? Because those grants are going to come from the taxpayer. So there you go, a little bit of Ed Miliband economics for you there. The Daily Mail, extremist is still welcome in the UK. This is, of course, the case of Alaa Abdel Fattah, which has been the story, really, for the last 48 hours or so now. Sir Keir Starmer has come out, released a statement, said, look, it's abhorrent what he said, and there's been an information failure, but we're not going to deport him. So why not? The Sun... one of several newspapers going with this story. Anthony Joshua just inches from death. So, yeah, the former the two-time boxing world champion. I mean, he's got minor injuries, apparently. That's the latest that we're being told, anyway. But two of his friends sadly died. It's a horrific car crash in Nigeria. Unbelievably horrific. He has somehow managed to walk out of there, while sadly two of his close friends did not. The Independent: UK should seek a new EU defence pact to replace President Trump. That's according to a poll. So they've done a poll on it. Great. So, yeah, seek an EU defence pact. Can't help but be reminded of the time that Russia initially invaded Ukraine. This time, not when they nabbed Crimea. The time after that, more recently. And the Germans just sent them a few helmets. Whereas we actually sent them quite a lot of... Down, Krista. We sent them quite a lot of hardware. And, you know, I just wonder whether or not that EU defence pact is going to be... Isn't that NATO? Isn't that what NATO's for? Anyway, Express: fury as Starmer refuses to deport Egyptian extremists. The Telegraph: this is the new line, really, on this Egyptian guy story, that Zionists are out to get me, claims the extremist. So this is a story that apparently Al-Fatah has liked a Facebook post saying that Zionists were behind a campaign to smear him. I understand that he now has unliked it because we were monitoring that situation, but... You know, I mean, this is it. I mean, Robert Jemrick here sums it up. At the same time as El Fatah is apologising unequivocally, over on Arabic Facebook, he is liking posts claiming that he's just the victim of a Zionist campaign. Get this disgusting man out of our country now, says Robert Jemrick. All right, Mirror: Joshua crash horror. It's the Anthony Joshua story. The Guardian: 1 in 3 believe that Britishness is dependent on being born in the UK. I'm surprised it's not how... We'll talk about that. Anyway, the iPaper: Pride of England, Lionesses lead the New Year's Honours list. And this is where we are starting. It's the New Year's Honours list. It was revealed to everybody at 10:30, and because it's quite a long list, some of the names are still emerging. So let's talk about that. Some of the recipients: Idris Elba, the actor, and the figure skating supremos, Torval and Dean. They are leading the New Year's Honours list. England's victorious women's football team, the Lionesses, and the rugby team, the Red Roses, they've also got gongs. Elsewhere, the Kumars at number 42, actress Mira Sahal, 64, became a dame. Broadcaster Gabby Logan, actor Warwick Davis, and the presenter and author Richard Osman have also been made OBEs. Wicked star Cynthia Arivo has been made an MBE for services to music and drama, which is interesting. And football commentator Clive Tilsley, known, well, amongst many other things, of course, but partly anyway, for his Solskjaer has won it line, when Manchester United claimed the 1999 Champions League final, beating Bayern Munich in the last minute, in extra time, actually, and securing the best treble known to man, because they're the best football team the world's ever seen. Anyway, he has been given an OBE for services in broadcasting and charity. A woman thought to be the oldest victim of the Horizon IT scandal, which I believe is the post office scandal, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it is good. 92-year-old Betty Brown said that it was a shocker, which I'm assuming she means she's shocked by, not she hates it, to have been made an OBE for seeking justice for sub-postmasters. There you go. And D-Day veteran Mervyn Kirsch, who's 101 years old, said it was a wonderful thing to be awarded a British Empire Medal, and that's for services to Holocaust remembrance and education. Look, I don't know, I might be missing something here, but I would have thought we should just knight him. Like, one, I mean, how can anyone else on that list be more deserving than D-Day veteran and, kind of anti-Holocaust activist Melvyn Kirsch? But anyway, let's go over to the panel now, because Christo Foufas has been doing some digging, and Christo, you have uncovered a few names on this honours list that you think might wind my viewers right up.
Well, yes. I mean, firstly, there is the omission, Rory McIlroy. Now, you might think that, fine, he can get it down the line, but he did make history by, what did he win? Four golfing majors, right? And the reason that he's been left off is because apparently HMRC raised some red flags about a perfectly lawful tax scheme that he participated in. Now, the nature of the dispute is apparently thought to be HMRC's investigation into whether investments made by him and others had exploited the business premises renovation allowance programme, under which investors can claim tax relief on expenditure, but there's nothing illegal about it. So firstly, I think, well, hang on, you legally avoid some tax.
Can I just say what I think maybe the real... So that's obviously the reason that they might have put out there for it. What I think the real reason might be is that he represents Ireland
Yeah, but you
at the Olympics.
Yeah, but
so he's got a choice, and he's chosen Ireland, which was...
That's because he's born there.
Well, well, he's Northern Irish.
But isn't the Lionesses manageress of the Lionesses, isn't she not
Swedish.
British? She's Swedish.
Yeah.
So you can be honorary. You don't have to Dutch.
She's Dutch.
So you don't have to be British in nationality in order to
No, I
get
get
the
that,
honour.
but I think the point would be he's made a choice not to represent the United Kingdom and Great Britain, hasn't he?
Yeah, whereas the Serena, the Dutch England manager, is from the Netherlands and has chosen to represent England. And so I would say that, that indicates it. Also, she doesn't actually get a damehood, she gets an honorary damehood as a foreign citizen.
All right, the other ones as well, controversial figures. Charlotte Moore, former BBC executive, partly blamed for the discredited Gaza documentary, given an honour, and the police chief who blocked the hiring of white British recruits, also given the honour. Another couple of omissions.
What's all that about then? The good bloke who, so some police chief blocked white recruits?
Yes.
How do you feel about this? Specifically that. So a police chief who, did actually blocked white people from joining the police force? Is that right?
Blocked white recruits.
I suppose sponsoring D&I recruitment as opposed to, young white British men and women, I guess.
Given a gong. Is that a bit weird?
Yes, it is weird, but then so is giving the BBC lady who basically who knew that the Gaza documentary was inaccurate, giving her an honour. I mean, this is just bizarre. And going back to the Rory McIlroy, why are we giving Cynthia, what's her face, the actress? She's American. Isn't she?
No, she's not. She's British.
She's just a great actress, you see.
I thought she was American. No,
but she's slightly bonkers. But, to be fair, being bonkers, it probably gets...
Yeah, exactly. I thought she was American, excuse me.
The other thing which is a bit bizarre is, again... they've given loads of honours to the Lionesses. However, they've left out Chloe Kelly and Hannah Hampton, missed off the list.
Why?
Because apparently they want to get away from giving every single player the honour at the same time. So they said that they'll probably do it down the line.
Well, just do it now.
Yes.
You'd be gutted.
The Telegraph understands that Kelly and Hampton are likely to be honoured in future as part of a policy to move away from blanket honours for entire teams. You'd be furious, wouldn't you? You'd be absolutely furious if you were left out.
Is it because they're younger, or is it what's the reason?
They just don't want it to be an automatic assumption that the whole team gets it.
Yeah, so controversial figures such as Charlotte Moore, the former BBC executive who was partly blamed for a discredited Gaza documentary, has been... I mean, of all the years to give a gong to someone who was a top dog at the BBC, I would suggest that this year is probably not the year.
But she was Chief Content Officer. Now, the BBC will make thousands of programmes. She left that job to go and work for a private company this year, and so she finished her career in public broadcasting. And so, look, I don't agree with the Gaza documentary. It was unacceptably failing in editorial standards. But someone that's probably done 30 years and thousands of programmes, I actually don't think it's a very reasonable way to reflect someone's career to say they made one mistake and therefore they're not worthy of reward.
It's a pretty big mistake, though, and quite controversial.
Yeah,
and it isn't honours. I mean, I don't know. I think I don't agree with that at all. I think she was disgraced. She was, every time she came, she was interviewed continuously, denied it, stood up for herself. She did give credit to the people within her team, but I just think it's a bad look on the BBC.
It's so. Just to go back to the other controversy, it's John Robbins, Chief Constable of West Yorkshire Police. It was them that decided to do this positive discrimination, and he's been knighted.
Oh, my God. Look at the state of this. I'm sorry. In early 2025, West Yorkshire Police was accused of implementing a temporary block on white British candidates applying for police constable entry programmes to prioritise applications from underrepresented ethnic minority groups. That's racism, right? This guy
In fact, I think he actually called for positive discrimination to be made fully to be...
But this isn't unusual. This is across the board, across the NHS, across the police, etc. It's just absolute nonsense.
You must love this stuff, Ben, right? That's right up your street.
First of all, trying to get underrepresented groups into a job is not racism, and I'm sure he would adamantly say that.
The story is why aren't they volunteering? That's the story. Why is it that you need positive discrimination in West Yorkshire, which has got a lot of areas, let's be honest with you, with huge Pakistani and Bangladeshi immigration into there, huge Muslim community, both immigrant and domestic? Why are they not joining the police?
Exactly.
Why do you need positive discrimination? That's the story.
That's why a scheme of the likes that he oversaw would be beneficial to try and encourage them to feel safe. But look,
so it's
I would also
just not to hire someone based on their skin colour, is what you're saying.
Well, you want to have police forces that represent the community.
So it's okay not to hire someone based on their skin colour. If someone is white, it's okay not to hire them.
Let's just be clear that I don't think any of us know enough about that man's policing career, which presumably is decades long, to make that judgment.
We do know enough about the principle.
He may have done all sorts of other extraordinary acts of public service and defence that earn him that right. And I'm afraid the idea that on what was probably the last year of his career there was a question mark over a hiring process is not a fair way to judge.
But it's a hiring process that you support, and we can still... You're quite right, there might be more to his career, but we can still discuss
Chances
the
are there are.
principle.
I doubt he got a knighthood for nothing.
But you still agree with the principle of not hiring someone based on their skin colour?
Not quite. I think that you should encourage people from backgrounds that don't feel involved to feel safe, to be able to be productive,
at the expense of
forward.
Someone else based on their skin colour.
I'm sorry,
there's a word for that.
All jobs work at the expense of someone else, Christo.
Yes, but not based on their skin. I mean, you're actually advocating for jobs not being given to people based on skin colour now, then.
Article in the Daily Telegraph from April the 11th, 2025. I want to discriminate against white candidates, says police chief.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
Well, hang on, that's the headline, not a quote, isn't it?
Knight him. Give him a night.
Yeah, outrageous.
No.
I totally agree that if you have ethnic minorities who are applying for roles, they should absolutely be given the same opportunities as people of white skin. But to discriminate against and say we're not going to hire white people, whatever group it is, in favour of someone else is absolutely outrageous. It's racism. Yeah, that is the definition.
If you're saying go into schools and have a grassroots campaign where you try and encourage people of different ethnicities to be interested in the police, great, perfect. I'd be right behind that. But to actually, out the hiring process, discount people based on their skin colour alone, that's abhorrent. That's racism.
Let's be honest, if that happened, people like you would be saying, oh, white boys told not to apply at school in woke funding,
right? White working class boys are actually the ones at school who are most lacking.
We should be giving out nights to people who are trying to do their best to get white working class boys a leg up in society.
But then we can go back to the whole thing last week about, let's talk about misogyny and let's blame little white boys at school. Nonsense. So, you're just creating Frankenstein's monster here with all this stuff.
Yeah. OK, all right, fine. Some of the good ones, actually, no, sorry, just before... Oh, I need to do this, sorry. A spokesperson for West Yorkshire Police said, in West Yorkshire Police, we are committed to improving equality, diversity and inclusion within the organisation and strive to be more representative of the communities we serve. Positive action allows people from underrepresented groups who express an interest in joining the force to complete an application which is then held on file until a recruitment window is opened. No interviews are held until the window is officially open to all candidates. Enabling people from underrepresented groups to apply early does not give them an advantage in the application process. It simply provides us with more opportunities to attract talent from this pool of applicants. It's a ridiculous word salad. Nowhere there does it say they're incredibly committed to fighting crime, which I think should be the first duty of any police force, personally. But anyway, let's just focus on some of the other ones. Have we got that clip of Cynthia Arivo? You know, the one where she's being weird? No, I'll narrow it down. The one where she's being weird about colour. So what she says is that when people sing, she sees colours, which you can just lie about, can't you? So are you any good at singing?
No. Well, it depends on how many sherbets I've had.
What would be the first song that came to mind now? Just give me a...
Bon Jovi.
Well, just give me a little line from it. It's a little short line. A short line.
What? I don't know. What's a Bon Jovi song?
Whoa, we're halfway there.
Pink. It's bright pink. That colour. What? Bright pink. Yeah, exactly. What? It's nuts, isn't it? It's a lie.
Did you say pink because I was singing? Is that now homophobic?
Are we going back to gammon?
Here she is. Look, Cynthia Arivo doing exactly what I've just done now, but everyone thinking that she's telling the truth. Here we go.
have synesthesia, so I see
that's so cool.
colour with music.
Amazing.
Oh my God. So I can,
What colour is this?
blue. It's just like, that did turn blue. I don't know why.
I'm so glad you volunteered for that because I was going to ask someone to make a noise.
I didn't know that it would.
What colour is this?
Orange.
Oh my God. Wow. What? What if we all do it together? What color is that?
Can you, if you make
One,
harmony.
2, 3. Wait, you're moving the note.
You did move the note, so it went from yellow to green.
Oh,
Is no one going to call that? Sorry, am I the only one who thinks that that is just mental?
No,
that
many people experience
No one's
that.
just calling BS on that.
Many people experience that.
Experience what?
That they feel colours and words and numbers in different ways. That's a not uncommon neurodivergence.
So
you don't have it, but other people do.
So you believe wholeheartedly that Cynthia Arivo from Wicked, who obviously has behaved totally normally, by the way, in the whole press junkets for both the Wicked films, you believe her when she says that when you sing, she sees a colour?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it that she sees the person change colour or colour comes out? Maybe it's the whole Wicked green thing.
It's a colour. This is a common thing for neurodivergent people. And, you know, she's got a Tony Award, an Emmy Award, a Grammy, 3 Oscar
she can
nominations.
sing. We're not denying that.
You know, the fact that she only looks at people and sees colour, she should work for West Yorkshire Police.
Or the BBC.
Nice.
I think that would be perfect.
Well done, Torval and Dean, though. Should we just...
Yes.
I know we've been very negative here about some people. Maybe it's jealousy. I'm not on the list, you know. God, what do you have to do? You know, thanks to GBNews viewers and listeners, we've raised more than £1 million for charity in just a couple of years, which is arguably more than loads of people have done. You know, we've done things like, oh gosh, over the course of the last year, got the government to U-turn on the farmers issue there. We've already highlighted more than any other channel the issue of grooming gangs and trying to get something done about that. You know, we've been over to Calais, haven't we, and highlighted the fact that people are breaking into Britain.
You deserve one.
Smashed several different human trafficker rings there, got people arrested, actually, had weapons taken off the streets, both at home and abroad. But, you know...
And you stripped with the Dream Boys.
Well done, everyone who got an award, you know? That's what I say. That's why I say I don't do it. I don't do it for the recognition.
No.
Good job.
I don't do it.
Yeah.
You know? I'd probably say no. I'd probably say no.
Oh, you would be there in a second. Emily's probably got a hat picked up now, just in case.
Yeah. Well, she'd have to win it because, you know...
Yeah, and let's be honest, that's more likely.
It is more likely. But anyway...
Torval and Dean, national treasures. Yes. National treasures, fabulous.
Why has it taken 42 years since Rebel's Bolero?
Well, I know. I mean, to be honest, on the front of the Daily Express, they're probably thinking... They don't look that great, so let's get it in now. But bless them, they are... No, I mean, they're not ageing well. But, I mean, they must be in their late 60s, are they?
Well, yeah, I would say they probably are.
They're doing all right.
Oh.
I mean, by your logic, we won't be giving it to the war veterans.
I know, he's hanging on. Old Mervyn.
Yeah.
But, you know, they are national treasures to everybody. Well, I don't think Benjamin does, but I certainly do. I don't think you do either. I remember Bolero.
Yes.
Yeah, but I remember the original.
And it was amazing, with the purple, beautiful chiffon as well, through the winter.
Beautiful. Oh.
Right, that's pretty hard cue to move on. So there we go. Well, I'm just seeing green. I'm just seeing green. He's doing it. Oh, no,
well, it was purple.
Green with envy. Okay, time for the Great British Giveaway. It's 85 grand in tax-free cash. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to splash on anything you can dream of. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. £85,000 is the biggest cash prize we've ever given away. It's totally tax-free, which means that every single penny of it will be yours. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, coming up, the front page of The Times is all about solar grants for millions to cut home energy use. So, look, at first reading here, it looks like Ed Miliband is about to make us all pay so that we can all get solar panels and stuff, and then he's going to claim that he's reduced everyone's bills despite the fact we're all paying for it. But for more detail on that, we have got the man who wrote the report, I think, from The Times, who's coming on shortly. Also, there is a big update on the Egyptian well, let's just call him an extremist, I suppose, that Keir Starmer appears very reluctant to deport from Britain, despite the fact, of course, that he said some unspeakably anti-Semitic things and hates white people. So, anyway, big update on that when we come back.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Samantha, Jeffrey, thank you for your time tonight on The Late Show Live. Really appreciate it. This is a story that, amongst all the stories of wars and murders and crime and so on, at least it's given us a laugh, and at least the Raccoon is okay. Just explain to us, if you can, Samantha, exactly what happened. Where was the Raccoon found? Where is he now? Who found him and so on?
Yeah, so the store manager went to open up the ABC store here in Ashland, Virginia, and discovered a bunch of broken bottles in the back room. Upon further investigation, he was also located a raccoon that was passed out in one of the bathrooms. He had locked himself in the bathroom, and that's when the store manager called us to get him.
So first things first, how on earth did he end up in the store? How did he get in there?
So he fell through the ceiling. So he went through a ceiling tile and took out the wiring for the video camera as he was falling down. So we don't have a whole lot to go off of, just what the evidence that we encountered when we got to the scene of the crime.
So he fell through the ceiling, and I guess he landed on, because there's pictures here we've got of bottles of, I think it's whiskey, just strewn all over the store. So he must have fallen through the ceiling onto the shelves, smashed all the bottles, and then I guess from there thought it was going to be a great idea to, what, lap up all the alcohol on the floor?
I guess so. He just decided to have a party.
And who found him?
The store manager.
And what was their reaction? Have you spoken to them? What were their first sort of comments to you when they, I guess they called you to report the Raccoon passed out in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, they were a little bit distraught. They didn't know how to get him out. They obviously did not want to pick him up themselves. So that's why they called us for assistance.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. So, like I said, big update on this Egyptian extremist for you in a couple of minutes' time. But before that, we're going to deal with what's on the front of the Times newspaper, and it is solar grants for millions to cut home energy use. And that is Max Kendix joins us now. He's political reporter at the Times. Actually, two quite big political stories on the front of the Times, to be fair, Max, so we might get value for money here from you. But solar grants first. Now, as I understand it here, Ed Miliband, the Energy Secretary, is going to set out proposals to allocate 13 billion quid over the next 4 years to give people grants to do things like get solar panels and heat pumps. And he's going to try and claim that that means that we're going to have a zero-bill homes. But it's not zero bill, is it? Because we're all paying for it.
Well, the idea is that if you put a solar panel on your roof, you then bring that energy in, that brings your bills down from the energy that you buy from elsewhere, and that you could end up with a kind of zero bill home at the end of it. But yes, of course, this £13 billion fund isn't coming from nowhere. It's obviously taxpayers' money at the end of the day, but it's a big shift from what normally this kind of money has been spent on by the last Conservative government. Typically, this kind of stuff is spent on making homes more energy efficient. Instead, this Warm Homes Fund, as it will be called, which will be launched soon in the coming year, will be all about trying to get people to put solar panels on their roof, and also to get kind of plug-in solar cells which they can put on balconies and various other things to try and reduce bills. There's obviously a grand ambition set out at the election to reduce people's bills by £300, which is not looking very promising at the moment, considering forecasts as they are. And this is a lot of money being put in by Ed Miliband to try and get somewhere close to that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just Ed Miliband messing around with other people's money, isn't it? This time 13 billion quid of it, which, you know, is par for the course, Ed Miliband. He's the most expensive policymaker in British history. So, you know, there we go. What's a few billion more pounds? Could I just get you, if that's all right, on the other political story, which is Starmer's demise as Labour leader is now inevitable, says the Unite leader. So this is according to Patrick Maguire, obviously your colleague there, former colleague of mine, actually, in the Times. So it appears as though Starmer has very much lost the unions, Max.
Well, actually, there's an interesting link between these two stories, because Unite has been very critical of Ed Miliband for a long time. They think that he's scuppering jobs in the North Sea. Oil and gas jobs are being lost because of his policies, they say. Sharon Graham, who's the General Secretary of Unite, has never been a big fan of Ed Miliband, or in fact Keir Starmer. She was the only union leader not to back his manifesto, but they are Labour's biggest donors still. And what's really interesting in what she says in this interview with my colleague Patrick is not just that Starmer's demise is inevitable, but also she isn't very keen on any of the touted replacements, all the people that Labour MPs think might replace Keir Starmer in 2026, whether that be, you know, everyone from Shabana Mahmood to Ed Miliband to, of course, Wes Streeting, the main candidate. She says if they don't offer anything substantially new, there's no reason why she or the unions should back them. And what's been really interesting, actually, from the whole union movement is a lot of them are realising that a lot of their members are starting to vote Reform and not be Labour supporters at all. And that historic link between the unions and the Labour Party is really being tested in recent months.
You know, you're right about that. And one thing I've noticed specifically with Sharon Graham is that whenever I've been in the vicinity of Sharon Graham, which has been a few times, and I've asked her for an interview, she's always said yes. She's actually historically been really quite keen to come on GB News in a way that, you know, some of the kind of traditional left-wing people simply are not. You know, someone like John McDonnell obviously would just outright refuse to come on for whatever reasons he would say. But I think that indicates, to me anyway, that someone like Sharon Graham recognises that actually a lot of their quotes-unquote kind of working-class base, I suppose, are actually big fans of GB News, are actually people who are engaging in discussions, especially, I think, when it comes to things like immigration, for example. I just wonder where Unite would go, though. I mean, they're not going to start donating to Reform, are they? So what do you think they would do?
No, and, you know, there were some numbers kicking around at a Labour conference, something like 4 in 10 estimates that about 4 in 10, maybe Unite members, other trade union members were now supporting Reform rather than Labour. In terms of what they could do, I mean, they could disaffiliate from the Labour Party is essentially the ultimate threat. They are still officially affiliated with it. That is their mechanism to be influential within the Labour Party. They hold a lot of seats on the governing National Executive Committee of the Labour Party. They're still kind of institutionally involved. And the final nuclear option for any union would be to disaffiliate. That's not something that's being actively threatened by Sharon Graham at the moment, but such as the restructuring of British politics at the moment, that it doesn't seem too far an impossibility.
Well, Max, thank you very much for your time this evening. Great to talk to you. I do hope to hear from you again very, very soon. It's Max Kendricks there, who's a political reporter at The Times. So, yeah, two pretty bumper stories on the front of The Times there. Ed Miliband going to just take 13 billion quid off us to just give random people solar panels and heat pumps, yippee. The head of the biggest union that donates to Labour has given Sir Keir Starmer's premiership a terminal diagnosis.
And what's interesting about that second story is that she actually doesn't believe that Labour is being socialist enough. She says that their current agenda is rudderless and austerity light. She wants more borrowing for investment. She wants a wealth tax. She does want to ditch net zero policies and use increased defence budgets to buy more weapons from British arms manufacturers. So what's interesting is that some of it, I think, people will agree with, but certainly a wealth tax and increasing borrowing. Our borrowing is the highest it's been in history. What on earth else would we do if we had to borrow even more? And a wealth tax, again, we're seeing wealth leaving the country in its droves. So again, I'm not sure that that's an agenda, but she says any potential future Labour leader would have to get on board with that if they want Unite support.
All right, look, we've got to move on because a couple of really big stories to bring you. So the first one is that thousands of rejected Afghan asylum seekers, that is rejected Afghan asylum seekers, are still being housed in hotels and other taxpayer-funded accommodation at a cost of millions. Those figures have just been revealed. However, the other story is that big update on this Egyptian, extremist who has posted things about wanting to, talking about killing white people, hating white people, all of that. There is a big update on him, which I'm going to bring you next.
Good evening, welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. A frosty night to come for much of Scotland, staying dry wherever you are, but there's still a brisk northerly breeze bringing that cold feel. We've got high pressure dominating our weather, that northerly wind moving in around that high pressure, and a cold front will push through the country. That will just introduce clearer skies to much of northern England as well as Scotland throughout this evening. Cloudier skies across Wales, southwestern England as well as parts of Northern Ireland. Here temperatures will be held up above freezing, but it's across much of Scotland where we're expecting a frost by Tuesday morning. So another cold start to the day on Tuesday, but there will be more in the way of sunshine throughout tomorrow. At first, just across many north and western areas, you can see that frost on the screen there. It may last through much of the day on Tuesday. A bit more cloud though as we look further east. A few showers as well moving in off the North Sea, particularly across northeastern areas of England through Tuesday morning. Northern Ireland seeing a fairly dry start to the day. There'll be more in the way of cloud as we look further west through Tuesday morning, and you'll notice here a few showers through the English Channel. Some of these could clip the southwest coast as we head into the afternoon, but it should remain largely dry throughout Tuesday and more in the way of sunshine, particularly as we head into the afternoon. But we hold on to that northerly wind, that cold feel across many eastern areas through much of the day. So it will feel colder than it actually is here, but in the sheltered sunshine, it won't feel too bad. There's more sunshine to come into the rest of the week as well, but it will be a very cold start to New Year's Eve. Quite a widespread frost is expected. That could take much of the day to clear up, but there, as I said, there will be more sunshine. However, a few showers will move into the far north and west of Scotland as we see more unsettled weather and potentially some snowy weather arriving to start 2026. Bye-bye.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Okay, welcome back. Let's bring
Christo
up
was here.
Let's bring up the Daily Telegraph, and it is This one, Zionists are out to get me, claims this Egyptian extremist. So this is a man, El Fattah. He's been leading the news agenda for the last couple of days. You all know what he's done. People have unearthed his posts on social media in which he said things like randomly killing white people. He's also said this. I'm just going to get this for you now. In August 2011, he described the British people as dogs and monkeys. And at the height of some riots that were gripping London at the time, he said, "Go burn the city, or Downing Street, or hunt the police, you fools." He said that the police were not human, adding, "We should just kill them all." So this is the guy, right? Nice guy. Anyway, he apologised unequivocally for his extremist post, saying that he wants to kill Zionists, all of this stuff, right? And when people say Zionists, really, I think Jews. They mean Jews. Yeah. Right? He might deny that, but anyway. Anyway, he's apologised for that. The Prime Minister and Yvette Cooper, this evening, they came out. They said, "Oh, look, we've touched an intelligence failure." Yeah, you're right. An intelligence failure. We didn't know that he tweeted this stuff, implying that if they did know then what they know now, they wouldn't have allowed him to come to Britain. Anyway, after he's apologised, after he's done all that, what's he gone and done? He's gone on Facebook and he's liked a post saying that all of these claims against him are because of a Zionist campaign, and that he is the Zionists against Allah Abdel Fattah were behind a campaign against him. So it's the classic, leaning into literally the most anti-Semitic trope that you can possibly get, that if something bad is happening in your life, the Jews are doing it. This is the guy. I
wouldn't blame the Jews for doing it, would you, after what he said about them, in fairness? I mean, what a dreadful human being. You know, he's clearly not the full shilling. He's a nasty, evil piece of work. The things that he's said in the past, and he continues to say, and then he likes things on Facebook and thinks that there isn't going to be people watching what he's doing. And yet, our government are still not saying, they're not decrying what he's done, and still not saying this is a vile individual who should not be in this country and step foot on this. You know, what does this say to the Jewish people of this country once again? You know, here where they are, they're sitting in a country who fought for them and fought for their rights in the Second World War, who invited them here for sanctuary and salvation, and now, over and over again, hang them out to dry. If I was a Jewish person in this country, I would be absolutely furious. I would be absolutely terrified the fact that this government are in situ.
I mean, a lot of them understandably are. There's another post, another Facebook post, which El Fattah has appeared to have liked, and
it's funny. It's actually hilarious.
It says that Zionist journalists and Jewish groups had been amongst the most vocal critics of him.
Well, yeah.
But you said you wanted to take a drone to Zionist weddings so that you could kill people, and that suicide bombings were all right if it killed a few Zionists. So it's like, well, exactly.
I would imagine they would be some of the harshest.
I mean, they're not going to turn the other cheek, are they, really? Come on.
But that's the thing, the audacity to say they're out to get me after you threaten to murder them for no reason other than their identity or their political views. I mean, of course, they would be affronted by that. But I also, you know, it's so ridiculous when these people say, oh, it's a Zionist conspiracy to try and stop me. And I think, well, clearly it's not a conspiracy to stop you, because if it were, you wouldn't be in the country, would you? You'd still be in Egypt. So evidently they don't control the world, because I suspect you wouldn't be here if they did.
The thing is, what is this saying? What is this saying to other nutcases like this with this opinion? What is it saying to them? It's saying, you can come here, we'll just accept what you say, we'll accept what you do. It's just not acceptable. It's wrong.
That's exactly what's on the front of the Daily Mail, one of another several newspapers carrying this story. If we bring the Daily Mail up if we can, extremist is still welcome in the UK, says Sir Keir Starmer. So here we go. So we've had this ridiculous situation where nobody in the intelligence agencies... Can I just say, by the way, there are reports coming out as we speak from Egypt that say that the Egyptian government is adamant that they told both the previous Conservative government and this Labour government exactly what Allah Abd El Fattah had been posting on social media. So now the Egyptian government might be lying, OK? I am not trying to say that I believe the Egyptian government overall. It's always dicey territory when you do that. But really, I don't know. I think in this case, maybe they did tell everyone. And also, someone should have looked. But Sir Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper's line on this right now, currently, is, well done, yay, we got him into Britain. oh, whoopsie, sorry, nobody checks that, and he probably shouldn't be here, but he is here, and we're not going to deport him. So,
yeah.
Well, let's just be clear. Liz Truss was the Foreign Secretary in 2021, so someone should ask her why this was allowed to happen, why this failure happened, because it makes things a lot harder now. But secondly, looking at the precedent for these situations with dual nationals in Egypt, one of the requirements of them being released is relinquishing their Egyptian citizenship. That's what's happened in similar situations, which means that you would expect Egypt to remove his citizenship, and then he would be stateless if he lost his UK citizenship, which is illegal.
So we need to get rid of him now.
And therefore it may soon be impossible.
We need to get rid of him now, Christo, because the Egyptians are probably going to remove his citizenship.
But the problem is,
They're just laughing, aren't they?
They're laughing, just like they're all laughing.
But if we start trying to strip people of their citizenship based on things that they've said, I think it's a very dark road to go down without due process.
Christian,
he's not British. He's not British. There's no record of him ever having been to Britain.
Well, he must have had some sort of contact with Britain because he's got a child here. But he's also got a 15-year-old here.
He has.
So I don't know whether.
But we give out citizenship like sweets in this country. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that. But I'm just exercising caution because I don't want someone that look, this guy's abhorrent, but we're talking about the tweets and messages online that people find abhorrent, and do we want a situation where the state can say, actually, we are going to kick you out based on stuff you've written online? Because, again, I know Lucy Connolly was a very different case to this, but I would worry about the state having that power.
Yeah, well, I think they've got too much power in that.
The point is, in a long line of diplomatic catastrophes, including things like the Chagos Islands, the Chinese embassy scandal, I mean, all sorts of stuff, Sir Keir Starmer has now come out and tried to claim this as a huge victory, because that's the way he views the world, isn't it? Human rights lawyer. We have got this brave, diligent activist jailed for the crime of posting on social media. Jailed for the crime of social media. We've managed to get back to Britain. And it has become the single worst catastrophe of his entire premiership, and that is a competitive field. And it just shows you, doesn't it? Seriously.
They can't take anything that they consider a success without screwing it up.
No,
I mean, they've got the opposite of the Midas touch.
They've successfully negotiated with the Egyptians to bring someone to Britain that isn't British and that the Egyptians want to leave. I mean, well done, fantastic. Oh, yeah, doff of the cap to you, sir. Anyway, Alaa Abdel Fattah has said, looking at the tweets now, the ones that were not completely twisted out of their meaning, I do understand how shocking and hurtful they are, and for that, I unequivocally apologise. Right, so that's what he's had to say. Now, OK. So, interesting story on the front of The Guardian, which is 1 in 3 believe that Britishness is dependent on being born in the UK. Well, step forward George Clooney, who has been granted French citizenship, along with his wife Amal Clooney and their 2 children, according to an official decree in France's government gazette. Find out why next.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. Are you after some sunshine this Christmas period? There is some on offer, particularly if you're going to the Canaries. Plenty of sunshine here, but Madeira seeing outbreaks of rain for Tuesday and brighter skies for Spain and Portugal. Sunny spells here, 1 or 2 showers, but more settled across into Italy, parts of Greece where we'll see showers, some longer spells of rain at times, but particularly mild for the time of year, 15, 16 Celsius. Turning cooler here over the next few days, but increasing amounts of sunshine too.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Let's start.
Welcome back. So let's round this off by going to... Oh, yeah, interesting story. So, front of the Guardian, sorry. Front of the Guardian, they have got that 1 in 3 believe that Britishness is dependent on being born in the UK. Well, I'm quite surprised it's not more than that. I would have thought that more people would reveal that, would have thought that you should be born here. But anyway, but it's relevant, this, because George Clooney has just been granted French citizenship, along with his wife, Amal Clooney, and their 2 children. That's according to an official decree in the French government's Gazette. So the publication confirms an ambition that Clooney alluded to early in December. He praised French privacy laws that keep him and his family shielded from paparazzi. So I was having a look at this, and apparently George Clooney and his wife moved into an $8.3 million French winery estate in Provence in 2021. The privacy laws, apparently you can't do anything if France take pictures of him. He says that he's trying to become culturally integrated. He's been taking French lessons for more than 400 days. Well done, George. Been there since 2021. But he's now a dual US-French citizen. Do we care?
Well, I mean, his wife, Amal Clooney, is Lebanese, which obviously has strong links with France. It was a French colony, so I wouldn't be surprised if she speaks the language already. But you can also imagine, you see these videos of the tour buses that go through Hollywood. It must be quite a strange place to live at the best of times with everyone seeing you and watching you and stuff. I can understand why he'd want the privacy. There's also a story in today's papers that Beyoncé has bought a massive estate in the Cotswolds, so they're all leaving the US for Europe.
Yeah, quite. Well, for a version of Europe, aren't they? They're leaving it. So Provence is like one of the most quintessentially French places anywhere, yet to be enriched by...
you don't see them moving to Paris, do you?
Vast ways of multiculturalism. The Cotswolds, of course, again, picture perfect, very quintessentially British, isn't it? They're not moving to Luton, are they?
Yeah, and also the Clooneys are very well established in Lake Como
I think
in
Como.
Italy. They've also got a place in Venice. You know, they've obviously got places everywhere because they're pretty wealthy, aren't they? So, you know, the French aren't going to say, we're going to apply for citizenship, and they're not going to turn them down, are they, really?
Yeah. But it really is lovely the way they're seeing real France, real Italy. They're really getting to grips with those things from their $8 or $9 million estates in those places.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a story a while ago that he built a fortified wall around his villa in Como, but anyway, good stuff. I think
with armed guards.
Campaign for more immigration. Anyway, whatever. Right, OK, so let's give you the roundup of tomorrow's newspaper front page of The Guardian. 1 in 3 believe that Britishness is dependent on being born in the UK. The Daily Telegraph, Zionists are out to get me, claims that Egyptian extremist. The Times, solar grants for millions to cut home energy use. The Daily Mail, extremist is still welcome in the UK, says Starmer. The Sun, Anthony Joshua just inches from death at car crash in Nigeria. The Independent, UK should seek new EU defence pact to replace Trump. The Express, fury as Starmer refuses to deport the Egyptian extremist. The Mirror also carry the Anthony Joshua case. And the iPaper lead on the New Year's honours list. Thank you very much, everybody, to my wonderful panel. Most importantly to you. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good evening, welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. A frosty night to come for much of Scotland, staying dry wherever you are, but there's still a brisk northerly breeze bringing that cold feel. We've got high pressure dominating our weather, that northerly wind moving in around that high pressure, and a cold front will push through the country. That will just introduce clearer skies to much of northern England as well as Scotland throughout this evening. Cloudier skies across Wales, southwestern England as well as parts of Northern Ireland. Here temperatures will be held up above freezing, but it's across much of Scotland where we're expecting a frost by Tuesday morning. So another cold start to the day on Tuesday, but there will be more in the way of sunshine throughout tomorrow. At first, just across many north and western areas, you can see that frost on the screen there. It may last through much of the day on Tuesday. A bit more cloud though as we look further east. A few showers as well moving in off the North Sea, particularly across northeastern areas of England through Tuesday morning. Northern Ireland seeing a fairly dry start to the day. There'll be more in the way of cloud as we look further west through Tuesday morning, and you'll notice here a few showers through the English Channel. Some of these could clip the southwest coast as we head into the afternoon, but it should remain largely dry throughout Tuesday and more in the way of sunshine, particularly as we head into the afternoon. But we hold on to that northerly wind, that cold feel across many eastern areas through much of the day. So it will feel colder than it actually is here, but in the sheltered sunshine, it won't feel too bad. There's more sunshine to come into the rest of the week as well, but it will be a very cold start to New Year's Eve. Quite a widespread frost is expected. That could take much of the day to clear up, but there, as I said, there will be more sunshine. However, a few showers will move into the far north and west of Scotland as we see more unsettled weather and potentially some snowy weather arriving to start 2026. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date, a simply stunning